you're an active walker, hiker, or runner in America, likely you have had a conversation with somebody about a foot motion known as pronation. Although pronation is a very complex movement of 3 different body planes, we can actually focus it down to a more simpler definition of essentially pronation is where your arch flattens out or when your arch rotates to the inside. Pronation is typically occurring at the big joints in the back of the foot. This joint is the subtalar joint, called that because it sits under the talus bone. There's also a certain amount of pronation that occurs at the mid-tarsal joint. So when you hear somebody talking about pronation, what they mean is the joints in the back of your arch are flattening out and your foot is getting flatter. Pronation, roughly speaking, is the rolling inward of the big joints in the back of the foot and the ankle. So pronation looks like that. We all need to do a certain amount of pronation for walking, standing, and running, which helps us to absorb the body weight. It only becomes a problem when it is persistent in a weak foot and creates malalignment of the whole lower leg. If you're told that you're an overpronator or you're concerned about your pronation, there's a very simple test that you can do, and we call this the Hallux adduction test. The hallux is the medical term for your big toe. You will notice that your pronation amount changes drastically based on the position of the toe. So right now, I'm going to put my big toe in the position that most conventional shoes will hold it in. We'll just take this shoe here. Pretending that I'm going to go out and run or walk in this shoe, my big toe will be way up in the air and my heel will be higher. So most walkers, runners, and hikers are out there today functioning in this position, not knowing that that position dramatically increases, unnaturally I might add, the amount of pronation that their arch would undergo. So the take-home message today, and one that you can demonstrate on your own at home, is to put your toe into natural position. And here at our clinic, we use Correct Toes Toe Separator to do that. What you will then notice in your own foot, and you'll notice from my foot, once my toe is in line with my metatarsal, if my heel is level with the whole front of my foot, you're not going to see my arch pronate anything more than maybe a millimeter or 2. That is a strong, stable foot. Not so surprisingly, that is how we are designed. Unfortunately, people who design shoes think it's okay for our foot to be in this configuration during athletic activities. Unfortunately, that's likely to wind you up in the podiatry office. So on your own at home, with feet about shoulder width apart, most of your big toes are going to be there. Rotate your feet into pronation, then rotate your feet into supination. Take your big toe, put it where nature wants it to be, if you're able to, then try to pronate your foot. All but about 3% of the patient population that we've observed in 20 years of our practice will maintain their own arch if their toe is in alignment. However, most shoes, as you can imagine, have people over there, so unfortunately people are being told that they're overpronators, and that might be partially true if they're spending their time in a shoe that's not letting them control their own arch. So you really want to be thinking about maintaining that natural foot shape, which is widest at the ends of the toes, heel level with the ball. That will enable your arches to get strong, and you can actually naturally use your own particular amount of pronation to your advantage.